Hello viewers, good day and welcome to our today's lesson on science. And the grade is grade 8 and the topic that we shall discuss today is environmental management and protection. Environmental management and protection is our topic for discussion. So you get ready for that and we move on now. So we start looking first at our environment, the term environment. What does this mean? We said here, this is our surrounding. This is our surrounding. We share our environment with many other living things. In fact, we are one of the species among millions of others that inhabit the planet Earth. But despite our small size, we affect the environment much more than any other species. We are also the most successful species in the universe. One of the reasons why we are more successful is our ability to use tools and materials. In earlier grades, we learned about the Earth's natural resources and how they have been exploited by humans. Since the beginning of our existence, we have changed our environment to suit our way of life. Environmental management and protection is the various ways we adopt to use and protect our environment and prevent extinction of the endangered species. So this is actually what is environmental management and protection. Is the various ways we adopt to use and protect our environment and prevent extinction of the endangered species. The purpose of environmental management and protection is the sustainable management of environmental resources to balance uses and values for current and future generations. How have we altered our surrounding? How have we altered or changed our surrounding? When we alter our surroundings to suit our needs, we do not often consider the needs of other living things that share our surrounding. This has a serious effect on our environment, leading to complete extinction of some species and near extinction of others that we call endangered species. It is important that we consider the immediate and long-term effect of our actions on the environment. So how have we altered our environment or changed our environment? Here are some of the ways. By looking at this picture here, you will see how, as humans, we have changed or altered our environment. So these are some of the environmental damages caused by humans. So looking at this picture, look at here. These are all human activities that have changed the environment. Okay? Another picture is here showing you another way how humans have changed or altered the environment. Look at what is there, what has been produced here. Smoke from a factory, which goes into the atmosphere and then pollute the air, so thereby changing our environment. Another way how we have changed our environment is also shown in this picture here, that is dumping indiscriminately along different places and thereby burning the products, and then the smoke goes into the atmosphere again, polluting the atmosphere. And the others coming from the refuse also affects the environment as well. So good environmental management and protection practices. What are some of the good environmental management and protection practices? We start looking at a very important declaration here. This is called the Banjul Declaration, announced on February 18, 1977 by His Excellency Dawda Kairaba Jawara, the first president of the Republic of the Gambia. So we must have learned this when we are in the lower basic, the Banjul Declaration that declares to protect our flora and fauna, and was announced by the former president of the Gambia, Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, on 18th February 1977. Okay, it's a very important declaration that helps to protect our environment, that is by protecting our plants and animals that we call flora and fauna. So along here also we are seeing, you will see here also some of the ways we can do, or what are some of the things we can do to enable to protect our environment. Okay, first we start looking at this one here, doing nature activities. Number one, doing nature activities. Being in close contact with the environment will make school children more aware of how important it is to protect it. Okay? Doing nature activities is one way to protect the environment. Two, visiting farms and garden centers. Visiting farms and garden centers. Spending time surrounded by plants and animals is a great way to make children feel at one with nature and learn to care for it and respect it. Okay? Spending time surrounded by plants and animals is a great way to make children feel at one with nature and learn to care for it and respect it. 3, collecting waste. Collecting waste. Investing in few hours in clearing waste from woodland areas and riversides will help children to realize how harmful it is for the environment. Okay? 4, separating waste in the classroom. Separating waste in the classroom. Having different colored waste bins in the classroom is extremely useful for teaching children how to recycle. Having different colored waste bins in the classroom is extremely useful for teaching children how to recycle. 5.5, talking about environmental problems. Talking about environmental problems. Holding debates to discuss simple ecological matters is an interactive way of inviting school children to think about the causes and come up with potential solutions. So these are also very important ways that we can adopt to be able to protect our environment. Another useful tips that we can also use to manage and protect our environment. Some more tips for protecting the environment. Point 1, freeze leftovers. Take away food and fresh products that you are not going to eat. Freeze leftovers, take away food and fresh products that you are not going to eat before they spoil. Point 2, if you use food waste as fertilizer, You will recycle nutrients and lessen the effects of climate change. If you use food waste and fertilizer, you will recycle nutrients and lessen the effects of climate change. Point 3, turn off the lights. You do not need an unplug electrical household appliances when you are not using them. Turn off the lights. You do not need an unplug electrical household appliances when you are not using them. Point 4, fill up your washing machine and forget the clothes dryer and hair dryer, better in the open air. Fill up your washing machine and forget the clothes dryer and hair dryer. What is more better is in the open air. 5, don't spend more than 5 or 10 minutes showering. No more full bath tubes. That is to minimize the amount of water we use. Okay? Then, point 6, buy products with little packaging. Buy products with little packaging. That will also minimize littering, because if you have a lot of materials with packaging, those empty packagings, you will be throwing them around and littering around the surrounding. Okay? Then 7.7, put down carpets to keep the house warm. Put down carpets to keep the house warm. Point 8, don't rinse the dishes before putting them in the dishwasher. Don't rinse the dishes before putting them in the dishwasher. This is also important in terms of minimizing or the wastage of water. 9, avoid preheating the oven unless it is essential. Avoid preheating the oven unless it is essential. Also, to minimize wastage of energy, that is electricity. Then 10, insulate windows and doors and adjust the thermostat for summer and winter. Point 11, download electricity, water and telephone bills, etc., from the internet and ask to go paper free. This is also important in order to avoid littering, because having a lot of papers with you, you may end up throwing them and littering the environment. Then point 12, replace all electrical household appliances with others more energy efficient. Okay? Replace all electrical household appliances with others more energy efficient. Here also to minimize the wastage of energy. Okay? So these are very important tips that we can adopt also to help protect and manage our environment. We continue now on this other aspect again. Environmental damages caused by humans and ways of controlling and repairing it. Environmental damages caused by humans and ways of controlling and repairing it. So here we look at some environmental damages that are caused by man on our environment, and also methods of controlling and repair. Methods of control and repair. So we start with the first point we have, which is erosion. Erosion is caused by overgrazing of cattle, overcultivation, deforestation, slash and farming practices. Okay? Erosion is caused by overgrazing of cattle, overcultivation of a particular piece of land, deforestation, slash and farming practices. So how do we control erosion? How do we control erosion as an environmental problem? Methods of control and repair. Good farming practices, crop rotation, sensible grazing, contour plowing, and tracing of hill grounds. Okay? So we may move. We look at also another environmental problem here, air pollution. Air pollution is caused by industry, traffic, and burning of fuels. Caused by industry, that is industrial activities, traffic, and burning of fuels may cause air pollution. Now, how do we control and repair air pollution? Controlling of industrial emissions, using of lead-free petrol, and use of catalytic converter to reduce vehicle exhaust fumes. Find other sources of energy such as solar, wind, and wave power. So these are also some important ways we can adopt to control air pollution. Please, controlling of industrial emissions, using of lead-free petrol, and use of catalytic converter to reduce vehicle exhaust fumes. Find other sources of energy such as solar, wind, and wave power. So we may move. We continue with another environmental problem, that is what? Water pollution. Water pollution is caused by poor sewage disposal, industry, oil spillage, and overuse of detergents and fertilizers. Water pollution is caused by poor sewage disposal, industry, oil spillage, and overuse of detergents and fertilizers. Methods of control and repair. How do we control and repair water pollution? Improved sewage treatment and disposal, restricting the level of waste that factories are allowed to dump into rivers, tighter control on safety in oil transport, greater use of non-detergent cleaning materials, and greater use of organic fertilizers. So these are also important ways to control and repair water pollution. So take note of them, please. We have another environmental problem or damage that is called land pollution. Land pollution is caused by mining and quarrying practices. Mining and quarrying practices. How do we control that and repair it? Land pollution. Landscaping of worked-out mine quarries, use of disused quarries sites to dispose of refuse, tree planting program, incineration of refuse wherever possible, restriction on programs. Okay, these are also important ways we can use to control and repair land pollution. Management and protection of forests. So here, look at here, this picture here. What are we seeing here? We are seeing forests and people there planting trees. Okay? So it's an important way of protecting forests, tree planting. So look at the activities the people are doing. They are doing tree planting. Still talking of management and protection of forests, still look at here. The people are planting seed to produce seedlings that can be later used to be planted in the forest in order to protect the forest. So it's a very important way of protecting and managing our environment by protecting the forest. By doing what? Tree planting. So planting more trees as possible is a very important way of protecting the forest. Our forests are a major natural resources. In the past, we have destroyed vast areas of forest without considering the consequences. Forests are important for the following reasons. Point 1.
Our forests
Yes.
are a major natural resources. Now, forest plural.
Our forests are major natural resources. In the past, we have destroyed vast areas of forest without considering the consequences. Forests are important for the following reasons. Point 1, they replace the atmospheric oxygen used up in the burning of fossil fuels, at the same time absorbing carbon dioxide, excess of which in the atmosphere causes greenhouse effect, which lead to global warming. Point 2, they maintain water vapor in the atmosphere. So forests help to maintain water vapor in the atmosphere. Point 3, they help to prevent soil erosion. Forest cover help to prevent soil erosion. Point 5, they provide a habitat for many wild animals. So these are very important uses of the forest. So therefore, then it is very important that we protect our forest and manage it well. So you still move on. Here it continues still about the forest. They provide timber. They provide timber for constructional work and others. They provide timber for constructional work and other uses. Another point here, they provide herbs as what? Medicine. Forests also provide herbs as medicine. Another point, they provide raw materials for crafts, tanning, and dyeing industries. Okay? Forests also provide raw materials for crafts, tanning, and dyeing industries as well. The final point now, they generate rotten materials which fertilize the soil in the forest regions. So forests are also very important for that in terms of providing fertilizer for the soil. Okay? By providing what? Rotten materials in terms of fallen leaves and branches that decay and rot and decompose, then returning important nutrients back to the soil. Okay, so you may proceed now. So take note of this importance of forests in case you may be asked at any time. So environmental protection, or say still again, ways to protect the environment, still talking of that. Point 1 here also says waste sorting. Waste sorting. Try to sort and recycle household waste. Waste is collected and its source in each area and separated. Waste is collected at its source in each area and separated. That is called waste sorting. Another point, using of solar energy. Using of solar energy. Install solar panels on your roof. Solar panels capture the energy of the sun and use that energy to power lights and heaters. Another point, plant trees, tree planting. Plant trees. Trees absorb carbon dioxide and emit oxygen, improve area water quality, and help make the ground more fertile for other plants. Another point, energy saving lamps. Energy saving lamps. Compact fluorescent light bulbs use at least 2/3 less energy than standard incandescent bulbs to provide the same amount of light, and they last up to 10 times longer. The fluorescent lamps are better than the incandescent lamps in terms of energy saving energy. Okay. Another point, vegetarian food. Vegetarian food. Go vegetarian once a week. One less meat-based meal a week helps the planet and your diet as well. Another point, changing transportation habits. Changing transportation habits. Walk or ride a bicycle when your destination is close to your home to avoid harming the environment by car pollution. So these are very important methods also, or ways we can adopt in order to protect the environment. Now let's look at this aspect of environmental management, that is soil protection and management. Soil protection and management. Fertile soil produces better, healthier crops. Crops feed livestock and people. It is therefore essential that we look after our soil and maintain it in a fertile state. Bad farming practices can lead to soil erosion. This results in the fertile layer of the topsoil being washed away, leaving the soil barren and useless for growing crops. Many farmers make the mistake of adding too many chemical fertilizers to the soil. This poisons crops, and the excess fertilizers finds its way into rivers and lakes, where it encourages the rapid growth of bacteria and algae and kills the aquatic organisms. Organic fertilizer like compost and manure are much better because they improve the soil texture and humus content, as well as adding essential nutrients. Planting cover crops also helps to prevent erosion by wind or water. So here is a picture that shows us how we can protect the soil. So here you can see cover crops being planted in order to avoid or prevent erosion by wind and water. So planting cover crops is one way of protecting the soil. Please. we look at this aspect also of environmental management and protection, management of used materials, or we say recycling of materials. Management of used materials, that is called recycling of materials. Now, every year, our nation throws away vast quantities of waste that could be reused or recycled. Examples include, point 1, paper. These are in the form of old newspapers, magazines, office stationery. Point 2, cardboard. Cardboard. All types of cardboard packaging. Point 3, plastics. Plastics in the form of bottles and cartons. Glass in the form of bottles or jars. Metals in the form of tin, aluminum, drinks, cans, Metals in the form of tins, aluminum drinks cans, foil cartons. So all these materials can be recycled instead of throwing them away in the surrounding and littering the surrounding. Instead, we can manage them by using them again. That is called recycling. How many of these things do you throw away at home and at school? I guess it's too many. All of these items can be used again. Paper can be pulped and made into new paper. Glass can be smelted. Glass can be smelted down and made into a new bottle. And metal can be melted and used again. So this process in actual sense is called recycling. So here is a picture of showing you that how we collect some of these refuse and then we recycle them. So this dustbin contains paper, this other one's glass, this other one contains plastics, and then this other one contains metal. So you can see here the refuse are all sorted out so that they will not be mixed, and that will be easy for you to collect them and then recycle them. So normally you don't have to mix all your refuse together, different kind of refuse like papers, glass, and plastics and metals all together. Separate them in different containers or dustbins so that the recycling could be easier. Okay. So before we end up the lesson, here is a homework for you to take home. You do it, and the next time we meet again, we discuss it here together. So question number 1 of the homework is, explain the term environment. I will just explain from the lesson. So explain the term environment. 2, list 4 natural resources provided by the forest. List 4 natural resources provided by the forest. 3, list 4 ways in which humans have changed the environment. Question 4, give 3 examples of waste materials that can be recycled and state how they can be managed and reused. Okay, so that's your homework for today. And here we come to the end of the lesson, and I thank you all for your good attention.